All right, let's just dive right into it. We're going to talk about something we all feel, but maybe don't have a name for: how we change the second we know someone's watching. It's this deep, powerful force that shapes our lives in ways we're only just starting to figure out.
I mean, think about it for a second. Are you? It sounds like such a simple question, right? But the answer? Well, it gets to the very heart of who we are, especially now, in a world that's just filled with screens and cameras, and this constant feeling that we might be on display.
Because we're not just talking about, putting on our best behavior when the boss is around. No, no. We're going to peel back the layers and see why the simple act of being observed doesn't just change what we do, it can actually change how our brains are wired to see the world. Okay, so to really get this, let's start with a really cool idea from sociology. It's a metaphor that pictures our entire social lives as one big, continuous performance. A brilliant guy named Irving Goffman came up with this. He called it dramaturgy. And the idea is pretty simple. Think of life as a play. Every single one of us is an actor on a social stage. And we're always trying to present a certain version of ourselves to whatever audience we have at the moment. And here's the kicker from Goffman. Yourself, who you think you are, isn't this solid, unchanging thing inside you. Nope. He says it's a dramatic effect. It's something we create on the fly for the people we're with. It's a performance.
Goffman broke this down even further. He talked about a front stage and a backstage. The front stage is where the show happens. It's you at a job interview, on a first date, or in that big work meeting. But the backstage? That's where we can finally drop the act. It's when you're at home, in your sweatpants, totally relaxed, getting ready for your next time in the spotlight.
And this whole song and dance of managing our front stage personality, well, it's got a name: impression management. It's that constant, sometimes you don't even know you're doing it, work of trying to shape how other people see us. And we all do it, all day, every day.
But here's a question. What if being watched does more than just make us put on a show? What if it actually sinks deeper, right into the wiring of our own brains?
Well, that brings us to a classic idea from psychology called the Hawthorne effect. Basically, it's this proven tendency we have to change what we're doing for one simple reason: because we know somebody is studying us.
So the story behind this is pretty wild. Researchers were in a factory trying to see if better lighting would make people work harder. And it did. Productivity shot up. But then, just to check, they made the lighting worse. And guess what? Productivity went up again. It had nothing to do with the lights. It was the attention. Just knowing they were being watched made them work harder?
For decades, we kind of thought that was the end of the story. We consciously try harder when we're being watched. Makes sense. But recent science, wow, it has uncovered a twist that is genuinely surprising. So some researchers designed this experiment they actually called the Big Brother study. They wanted to see if all this modern surveillance, cameras everywhere, was affecting us on a much deeper biological level, the kind of level we can't just switch on and off. And the results were staggering. People in the study who were simply told they were being watched by a camera became aware of human faces in a test almost a full second faster than the people who weren't. A full second. In terms of brain processing, that is an eternity. And this wasn't a choice. Their brains were literally processing other people faster. And that's the twist. Being watched doesn't just make us act different, it makes us see different. Our brains go on high alert for social cues, automatically retuning themselves. And the craziest part, we don't even have a clue that it's happening. So let's think about this. If we're all performing and our brains are unconsciously shifting to help us perform better, what does that even mean for being, real? This gets us into what you could call the authenticity game. This leads us to a really modern idea: performative authenticity. In a world where we're basically always on stage, just being authentic becomes its own kind of performance. It's this complicated art of making sure you seem totally genuine. And that's the great paradox, isn't it? The best, most successful performance of being authentic is the one where nobody even realizes it's a performance. We're all working so hard to look like we're not working at all. But here's where it gets really interesting. It's not as simple as just real versus fake. Sometimes the performance itself can lead to something real. Think about it. Someone might start recycling just to look good to their friends, but over time, through that very act, they might actually become a passionate environmentalist. The performance can actually change the performer. So this brings up a huge question. We're in this crazy feedback loop, right? We perform for other people who are also performing for us. So when you're observing someone and they know it, where does the act stop and the real person begin? Can you even tell? Okay, let's pull all these threads together now and look at how this all plays out on the biggest, loudest, most crowded stage in all of human history, our digital world.
I mean, come on, you see this stuff everywhere. The bookshelf from the background of that video call, perfectly arranged to look smart. The super obscure, cool Spotify playlist someone shares when you just know they're secretly listening to pop music. Or the amazing home-cooked meal on Instagram, which was probably followed by a bowl of cereal once the camera was off. It's all modern impression management.
The big difference today is that the line between Goffman's front stage and backstage is almost gone. With a phone in our pocket, we are always, potentially, on stage. We're always performing for an audience that we can't even see.
So look, the big takeaway here isn't that everything is fake and we should all be cynical. It's about being aware that this is happening. The challenge for us is to shift our thinking from, how do I look, to what's the real impact of the person I'm choosing to be right now.
And that's what I want to leave you with. In a world where we're always being watched, where our performances literally shape who we become, and surveillance can physically rewire our perception, the line between the actor and the role gets incredibly blurry. So on a stage that we can never truly leave, what does it even mean to be real?